Most men today live very carefully around women. They have been taught that being extra nice is the secret weapon, that agreeing with everything is the safe path, that if you are polite enough, patient enough, and always available, love and desire will naturally come. But then, something confusing happens. The more a man tries to please her, the more distant she becomes. The more attention he gives, the colder she feels. The more he chases, the less she wants to be caught. This feels unfair. It feels uncomfortable. And many people don't want to talk about it. But centuries ago, a thinker who closely studied power, behavior, and human instincts wrote something that still applies today. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli didn't write to make people feel good. He wrote to describe reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. He studied how people truly react, not how they claim they should react. One of his most famous ideas was this: fortune favors strength and boldness, not weakness or hesitation. This does not mean violence. It does not mean cruelty. Machiavelli spoke about inner strength, confidence, direction, self-control, and decisiveness. He understood something that many men today avoid admitting. Desire does not grow from begging. Attraction does not come from approval seeking. Respect is never created by someone who has no boundaries. When a man has no center, no direction, no standards, no backbone, he slowly becomes invisible. When you remove challenge, mystery, and tension, you don't create comfort. You create boredom. When you are always available, your presence loses value. When you fear losing her more than losing yourself, you already lost. In this video, we are not repeating modern slogans or romantic fantasies. We are examining attraction through history, psychology, and human nature. This is not dating advice. This is not a rule book. This is a philosophical breakdown of power patterns that still exist in modern relationships: strength versus harmlessness. Machiavelli introduced a concept called virtù. Many people think it is about morality or being good, but that is a misunderstanding. Virtù is about strength of character, the ability to take action, and having power over your own life. It is about being a man who can make decisions, stand firm, and act with purpose. In today's world, many men confuse being good with being harmless. They think if they never upset anyone, never challenge anyone, and never say no, they will be loved. But the truth is the opposite. Harmlessness rarely creates respect, and respect is the foundation of attraction. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you are with a woman and you ask, "Where do you want to eat?" She says, "I don't know." What do many men do? They say, "Whatever you want, my love." They think they are being kind. They think they are showing respect, but subconsciously, they are showing hesitation and lack of direction. A woman's mind notices this immediately. If a man cannot decide something small, like choosing a place to eat, it signals that he may not be able to handle bigger, more important things in life. Leadership does not start with grand gestures. It starts in small moments, in the choices you make, the decisions you take, and the way you hold yourself even in simple situations. Machiavelli warned that men who seek love at all costs often fail when real pressure appears. In relationships, this does not mean fear. It means respect for boundaries. If a woman knows that no matter how she behaves, even if she tests you, disrespects you, or ignores your needs, you will always stay and always give, desire slowly disappears. Not because she is mean, but because humans naturally value things that have limits. Think about it. A man who cannot walk away, a man who gives without pause, a man who never asserts his own needs, has no leverage. Without leverage, there is no tension, no challenge, and no spark. This is why excessive validation backfires. Constant compliments that flow without reason. Instant replies to every message. Long emotional explanations too early in a connection. All of these things are signals of neediness, not strength. They turn a man into background noise, someone who is always present but rarely noticed or respected. True respect grows when effort has value. When attention, compliments, or favors are given selectively, they feel meaningful. When time is treated as valuable, the other person feels that they must invest themselves as well. Machiavelli's principle is simple. Strength is attractive, harmlessness is not. A man who can stand firm in his choices, protect his own time and energy, and act with confidence naturally earns respect. And when respect exists, attraction follows. Scarcity creates value. Machiavelli understood one simple truth about human nature: people value what they can lose. It seems obvious when you think about objects. If you own a rare collectible or a luxury item, its value is high. But if it is cheap, common, or always available, it feels ordinary and loses its appeal. The same principle applies to relationships and attraction. If a man is always available, always responding instantly, always agreeing to everything, he stops being intriguing. Instead of being seen as a desirable partner, he slowly becomes emotional support or background noise. Imagine this scenario. A man texts constantly, comments on every post, rearranges his plans to suit her schedule, and never says no. Over time, this unlimited availability removes the spark. She knows she can get his attention at any time, so it begins to feel expected, not earned. Strong men understand this instinctively. They protect their time and energy. They give attention selectively, not automatically. Their presence is deliberate. This doesn't mean being rude or ignoring her, it means creating boundaries, not to punish, but to preserve value. Mystery is part of this. Distance is part of this. When a woman doesn't fully know where your focus lies or how you spend your time, her curiosity grows. She starts to notice what she could potentially lose. She begins to invest her energy to understand you. And here's the crucial part. Attraction thrives on tension, but not chaos. Avoiding all conflict in the name of being nice may feel safe, but it destroys respect. If a man never expresses disagreement, never sets limits, or never has his own boundaries, he becomes predictable, uninteresting, and easy to take for granted. Boundaries create tension. Tension fuels desire. Tension is the engine of attraction. But this is not drama, it's structure. Structure signals that a man is in control of his life, that he has direction, and that he will not sacrifice himself for attention. This stability feels magnetic. It makes a woman want to earn his attention rather than assume it will always be there. Machiavelli's insight is timeless. People are drawn to what is rare, valuable, and challenging to obtain. In relationships, the man who understands scarcity knows this. He doesn't answer immediately to every message. He doesn't always make himself the first option. He doesn't sacrifice his plans to accommodate every whim. Instead, he preserves his attention and gives it with intention. The result is subtle but powerful. She notices, she invests, she desires. By creating space, mystery, and selective availability, a man allows attraction to grow naturally rather than forcing it with excessive effort. In short, availability kills value, boundaries create desire, and scarcity makes you magnetic. This is why strong men never apologize for having limits. This is why they are noticed without trying. This is why they are remembered long after others have faded. Determination and direction. Machiavelli once observed something simple but extremely powerful. People naturally follow those who know where they are going. It doesn't matter whether it's in politics, business, or personal relationships, clarity of purpose attracts respect. And in modern relationships, this same principle applies perfectly. Women are naturally drawn to men who have direction. Notice, this is not about control. It's not about dominance or trying to dictate someone else's life. Direction is something different. Direction is about having a clear path, staying focused, and moving forward with calm confidence, even when no one is watching. It's about knowing your purpose and taking steady action toward it. A man with direction is someone who makes decisions calmly instead of hesitating or asking for approval, takes responsibility for the outcomes of those decisions, whether positive or negative, leads his own life without waiting for anyone else's permission to exist. This kind of determination naturally creates attraction. Why? Because it signals stability, strength, and reliability, qualities that women notice on a subconscious level. Honesty plays a big role here. Many men make the mistake of avoiding conflict to appear nice. They say yes when they want to say no. They hide their thoughts, desires, and opinions to avoid tension. But here's the problem. Avoiding conflict does not show kindness. It signals fear. It signals that a man does not value himself enough to protect his own boundaries. It shows that he is controlled by others' reactions instead of leading his own life. On the other hand, speaking the truth calmly, even if it creates a little friction, shows strength. It says, "I know who I am. I respect myself. I will not compromise my values just to please someone temporarily." This is far more attractive than constant agreement or passive politeness. The same principle applies to appreciation and attention. If a man gives everything freely, constant compliments, non-stop validation, or unquestioning approval, these gestures lose meaning. They become expected and ordinary. But when appreciation and attention are given selectively, they gain weight. They feel special. They signal that the man values his own time, energy, and presence, and that his attention is something meaningful. Applied to relationships, this principle works like this: reward interest and effort. Notice and respond to someone who invests in the relationship. Respond to care with attention, but don't overgive. Withdraw from disrespect or disregard. Set boundaries when needed. This is not manipulation. It is self-respect in action. It shows that a man has standards and that he is not willing to sacrifice his self-worth just to earn approval or affection. Women naturally notice this type of man. They sense that he is solid, independent, and capable. They see that he is not controlled by emotions or neediness, and that he can remain calm and consistent under pressure. Determination and direction are not flashy. They are subtle and quiet. But that is exactly why they are so magnetic. They build trust, respect, and lasting attraction. Machiavelli understood that clarity of purpose is real power. A man who knows where he is going does not need to beg for attention. A man with direction earns respect and desire naturally. In short, lead yourself first. Be confident in your decisions. Speak the truth calmly. Avoid bending just to avoid tension. Reward effort selectively, not automatically. Withdraw from disrespect. Protect your boundaries. When you do this consistently, determination and direction become irresistible qualities. A man with purpose does not chase. He attracts. He does not bend. He stands firm. He does not apologize for valuing himself. And in that quiet strength, women naturally feel drawn, safe, and curious. That is the power of determination and direction. The fox and the lion. Machiavelli said something powerful. A strong leader must be both the lion and the fox. At first, this might sound strange, but it makes perfect sense when you look at relationships. The lion represents strength, presence, and confidence. A lion does not waver. He is stable, grounded, and self-assured. People naturally notice him and feel drawn to his authority. The fox represents intelligence, awareness, and timing. A fox observes carefully. It knows when to act and when to wait. It notices traps, tests, and subtle cues. Alone, each has limitations. A lion without a fox is strong but predictable. A fox without a lion is clever but weak. Together, they create balance. A man who is both grounded and wise, strong but adaptable. This balance is exactly what women respond to. When she tests him, he does not panic. When she pulls back, he does not chase desperately. When she challenges him, he does not explode or overreact. Instead, he stays calm, steady, and unaffected. His emotions are under control. His presence alone communicates strength. This is the essence of emotional stability. It is not about being cold or distant. It is about having a center that cannot be shaken by minor setbacks or challenges. Women sense this immediately, often without realizing why. Another important part of attraction is investment. People become attached not only by what they receive, but by what they put in themselves. If everything comes too easily, there is no sense of achievement, and attachment is shallow. The fox-lion man understands this. He lets her invest in the relationship. He lets her make choices. He lets her step forward and contribute effort. Effort creates connection. Effort creates loyalty. Effort creates desire. If a man provides everything too freely, attention, validation, or approval, He removes the opportunity for her to invest. Without investment, attraction fades. Without challenge, curiosity disappears. The fox-lion balance allows a man to be generous without being available for everything, firm without being harsh, and present without being dependent on approval. He creates space, mystery, and respect, the key ingredients of lasting attraction. In short, be the lion, strong, steady, confident. Be the fox, observant, strategic, patient. Let her invest, let her choose, and let her earn your attention. Remain grounded, calm, and emotionally stable under all circumstances. This combination is magnetic. It is what makes a man memorable. It is what creates desire that lasts. Machiavelli was not writing about dating, yet this principle is timeless. Those who balance power with intelligence are the ones who are followed, respected, and desired. The real outcome. Machiavelli is one of the most misunderstood thinkers in history. Many people hear his name and immediately think of manipulation, cruelty, or deceit. But this is far from the truth. What Machiavelli actually taught was clarity, self-mastery, and understanding human nature. And when we apply his ideas to attraction, the lesson becomes clear. This is not about tricking anyone or being unkind. It is about mutual respect, boundaries, and authentic presence. The reality is simple. A woman feels safest with a man who can say no. Not a man who constantly seeks her approval. Not a man who bends to every whim. Not a man who sacrifices himself to avoid conflict. She feels respect for a man who knows what he will accept, what he will refuse, and where his limits lie. And respect is the foundation of trust. Trust is the foundation of attraction. Without respect, desire fades. Too many men believe that worshipping a woman endlessly creates attraction. They offer constant validation, instant attention, long messages, and endless compromise. They hope their devotion will make her love them. But this is a trap. Worship alone does not create attraction. Kings are not formed by submission. They are formed by self-mastery. A man becomes magnetic not by how much he gives, but by how firmly he stands for himself. By holding his values, protecting his time, and living according to his purpose. By not allowing approval from others, even someone he loves, to define his worth. A woman should be a companion on his journey, not the destination of it. When a man's mission, principles, and self-respect come first, attraction happens naturally. It is no longer about effort or trying too hard. It is about presence. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote about boldness and decisiveness. Comfort and submission feel safe, but they never create greatness. To grow, a man must accept discomfort, uncertainty, and the challenge of standing firm. This applies in every interaction with women. Set boundaries calmly but firmly. Speak the truth even when it creates tension. Reward investment and effort, not entitlement. Allow space for her to participate and contribute. These actions are not manipulation. They are self-respect in action. They show that a man is centered, reliable, and worthy of admiration. Machiavelli also warned that changing old habits feels uncomfortable and even dangerous at first. A man who has spent years being agreeable or people-pleasing may resist standing firm. It feels unnatural. It feels risky. But comfort has never created respect, desire, or influence. Courage, discipline, and presence do. Start by reclaiming your time. Decide what matters most to you. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stand firm in who you are, even if it challenges expectations or feels difficult at first. Boldness shapes destiny. A man who is clear about who he is and what he values attracts people and women who are compatible and meaningful. They are drawn not to neediness, but to solidity. They are drawn not to submission, but to self-mastery. The outcome is deeper than attraction. It is respect, loyalty, and genuine connection. It is a woman who values you, not because you chase her, but because you have a life worth sharing. She becomes a partner on your journey, not a distraction from it. This is the real lesson of Machiavelli for modern relationships. You cannot control her feelings. You cannot force desire, but you can control yourself. You can be firm, principled, and intentional. And in doing so, you create the conditions for respect and attraction to thrive naturally. Test these ideas. Observe how your relationships change when you hold your boundaries and act with purpose. Notice how respect grows when you stop apologizing for who you are. As Machiavelli believed, boldness shapes destiny. And one more timeless truth: fortune favors those who stand their ground. If this video challenged the way you think about relationships and attraction, subscribe and turn on notifications. In the next video, we'll explore how subtle body language can reveal interest, using observation techniques inspired by history and strategy. Remember, respect, self-mastery, and boldness are far more powerful than endless effort or approval seeking. A woman does not want a man who bends constantly. She wants a man who stands firmly. And when you do, attraction follows naturally. If this video gave you a new perspective on attraction and human behavior, take a moment to act on it. Don't just watch. Observe yourself, your actions, and your presence in your relationships. Start protecting your time, setting boundaries, and living according to your purpose. Stand firm in who you are, speak your truth calmly, and reward effort instead of giving everything freely. These are small steps with enormous impact. If you want to learn more about the hidden psychology behind attraction, influence, and human nature, subscribe now and turn on notifications. In the next video, we'll break down how subtle body language can reveal true interest and desire, using strategies rooted in historical observation and timeless human patterns. Fortune favors those who act with boldness and clarity. Be the man who stands firm, values himself, and naturally commands respect and attention. Don't miss it. Your journey starts here.